Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Best Start New Game series. This is episode 2, and let's get started. So, yesterday I made a couple of tweaks to the notes, and since the last video, I've reordered things. Basically, we chose Kale as the starter, but any starter is fine. You don't have to feel. A lot of players come in and find out that people are recommending Kale, or that people might recommend, say, Athel, but they chose maybe Elhain, like I did my first time, and feel tempted to restart. Don't. Honestly, the game takes long enough. Don't feel pressured to restart just because you chose the wrong starter. There is no wrong starter. They're all great. We also put in Monkey King as our starter promo code. And in fact, I was wondering about this. There are a number of starter promo codes, and I'm not sure if you can put in two of them or just one. So let's go ahead and take this day 2 bonus, working towards our very first free epic, Shaman, who is not particularly great. Wow, that's a lot of pop-ups. Sweet jeepers. So we'll go to promo codes. We should be able to enter it. So what is it? Superpowers? It's superpowers. So we'll see if this works. I don't know if it will. Nope. Already used one of this type. I think another one is Lucky Raid. But I guess every account only gets one. So there it is. I probably should have known that. But it might have been fun to also include Deacon onto our roster. But I think Monkey King is really a fantastic one. Oh yeah, I just put in Kale at the end of the last video. So I ended the last video with a whole series of auto battles. We were trying to get War Maiden from the Deadlands. We didn't, but we did get Shield Guard. So that's something. That's partway there. Now's the fun part where we pay for the privilege of buying stuff at the shop. You just kind of look at what's available. Oh man, gems. I don't want to spend gems on the shop yet. We want to save those for the masteries for Kale. So we'll hold off on this idea. We can check in. In fact, it's a new day in the clan, and we can even try to get some clan coins because you can get some really good accessories at the shop, except with this clan we can't. So you know what? We're going to pick a new clan. We're going to go to rankings. I'm going to go to Bordert. And here is my clan cluster. Plus one that has nothing to do with this that's still called Border Town, which has only one member in it. But we're going to join Border Town Junior. And we can now because I reduced the requirements between videos. So now it's only 20K to join. Look at that. We got room for 7 more players. New players, if you want to join Border Town Junior, it's a great clan. We got a Discord channel. Lots of cool people on the Discord channel. You should join us. You could be playing through the game for the first time, or even just restarting the game and playing with us in the Border Town clan cluster. It'll be fun. You should do it. So, everyone is welcome. And we'll check in with the Border Town clan. So now we can go. We don't have any. Yeah. We don't have any coins yet. But we can get these accessories, which can be 5 stars and 6 stars. This can be excellent on our champions. We just need to take some quests. The elite quests are probably going to be too hard for the account, with the possible exception of any of the ones that require a boost of 200 in Tag Team Arena, but they're all gone already. So we might come back to these. You can fill turn meters in the arena. You can get 2 items from the bazaar. You know what? Let's not get too bogged down by that. Let's just continue with our goals. So today we're going to try to push a little bit further in the campaign. We're also going to try to do the dungeons. So let's see. We got Shield Guard. He's a fantastic champion. Did we get any duplicates? No, we didn't. That's sad. But if we look at his skills, if you can ascend him, he removes a debuff from himself on every turn, which is extremely good. It makes him extremely useful to try to solo areas. It's a nice little advantage if you can make him the stun target on the clan boss. You might notice on the list, I've added clan boss as the final goal of this series. I think that's a worthy um, I think that's a worthy end for this, because once you get to the point where you can fight Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, that's where you can start to get lots of shards, lots of books, which are kind of the bottleneck for most people's accounts. Once you have that, you'll have access to basically the best of what you can get as free to play. So let's get to the campaign and let's keep pushing. So we at least want to get through the Deadlands today. And let's get Kale out of the sparring pit. We didn't even fully level these guys. You know what? I forgot to check and see if we have an XP doubler. That's often helpful if you're campaign farming. And I don't actually know offhand if we start with one. If we don't, I don't know if it's worth the gems to buy it. But we could probably win one from one of the challenges or missions. So we want to push the dungeons today as far as we can, because we want to make sure we win the starter tournament for the speed gear. I said we had 2 days to do it, but we actually have 3. I'm just going to hit it early on day 3, which is probably just a couple hours from now. I'm running very late today, so this is towards the end of the day for day 2. But at least our champions are higher level now. So we should have an easier time making it through these areas. So next. So there was an interesting development right after I posted this video, and by right after I mean 12 hours after. But I think technically Hell Hades posted this video first, I just didn't notice. He's planning on doing another starter series, and I was already kicking myself, getting buyer's remorse for starting this one, because I was like, oh, it would be fun to do a kind of mix it up competition with a bunch of content creators. I got a number of people in my clan that I'd like to ask if they want to make a team of 4. And I've been meaning to ask you guys, but if you happen to be watching this first, Mr. Burrito, Rue, other Border Town clan members, would you guys be interested in this? Because I think it could be fun to do a kind of a competitive new game thing. But you know what? I also really like just playing a new game and trying to put my best foot forward. Because if anything, it's amusing how wrong I can be about things. So far, I've been wrong about the gearing. I've been wrong about Sunwak Kong's passive. I apparently just forgot about Ascension. So Ascension is another very important thing to account for. So we're going to try to push the potion dungeons again today and tomorrow. The first 7 days, this is important. The first 7 days allow you to access all of the potion dungeons. After the first 7 days, you can't anymore because reasons. They just shut down 3 out of the 4 colored potion dungeons just cause. Just to make our lives a little bit harder, I guess. There doesn't seem to be any good reason for it. You can pay gems to get in there. That kind of sucks, though. I think it's 200 gems. Just for the privilege of fighting in a potion dungeon for the day. So it's good to take advantage of the early game bonus that you can fight in any potion dungeon you want for the first 7 days. Because you will never again get that opportunity. After that, you are going to have to line up and wait. I believe it's, I think it's Hell Hades that calls it Wait Shadow Legends, because there's an awful lot of waiting in this game. I have my own name for the game. I don't know if I've said this before in a video, but I call it Raid Shallow Legends. Because if you really pay attention to the story and the characters and stuff, it's a very shallow experience. You know, Kale, what's his characterization? Well, he's evil and he doesn't like dwarves. I mean, these aren't character traits, guys. That is not a character trait. Having long hair is not a character trait. Bald is not a character trait. You know, I don't go around going like, I'm bald. I'm the kind of guy that does bald guy things. You know, like bald guys are good at not having to use hair dryers. Technically true. It's just it's not a character trait. You know. When's the last time you ever heard a guy brag about being bald? Although seriously, guys out there, you know, men or the the few women this happens to as well, you start losing your hair, just shave it. Just shave it off. It's actually great. It's seriously great. I haven't paid for a haircut or shampoo in an awful long time. This episode of Raid Shadow Legends was brought to you by Bald. So, while we're waiting for them to push through campaign, I'm going to go back to the notes and I'm going to see if we can get some value content here. So we do want to keep an eye out for Armiger from the shop, or just from shard drops. He can also drop from those too. But if you happen to see him in the shop, get him. Get every copy of Armiger you can. He is amazing. Same thing with Shield Guard. He can drop from shards. He can show up in the shop. And of course, you can get him from the Deadlands. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and he'll drop here. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get ourselves a War Maiden. Wouldn't that be something?
The company announced to the multitude that Bad Alcazar was dead. But to their horror, as the incantation to Seroth resumed, they realized the souls of the congregation were still corrupted. It was then that the Arbiter appeared, with news from the Knights of the Sacred Order. They were assembling at Godfrey's Crossing. Go forth and make haste, brave champions.
Anyway. So here we are at chapter 10.
Crossing, where the Deadlands met the gorge of the hallowed halls, the remains of a fallen army were scattered on the far side of the bridge, realizing the Sacred Order must have fallen into an ambush.
So we'll just put in our main people. You. And actually, I had been doing it this way. This might make these runs a little faster. Because at least Kale and Skink will be hitting harder. Skink. What a great name. Early on in the game, I actually was using Skink, even in Arena. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, using a champion just because you like Azora. Really, you kind of want to like the whole kit when putting together your team. I would like to put together a really good Arena team at some point within the first 3 days, because that is part of the tournament as well. So towards the end of day 2, I might only play for an hour, I might play for 2 hours, and we'll see how it goes. But up in the notes, I put a time limit of day 4 as the time where I'm going to start playing for 2 hours, or for 1 hour. Seriously, Jesus, Kevin. And the reason is because I want to get to the final milestone of that tournament just so that we can get that 5-star speed gear. It is going to be a really, really good early game bonus. Outside of that, I don't think we're going to bother with any tournaments or any events for a while, because they can kind of be a distraction. They can make it too difficult to go after things. I remember when I first started playing, I think it was the sausage roll champion was the summon. It was Halloween 2020 anyway. a long time ago in the game, and there were many fewer modes in the game. And even then, it was overwhelming. So I can only imagine what it's like now for a new player to come in and have all these game modes flashed at them, all these champions flashed at them, all these resources you have to go after that didn't even exist when I started playing. And as I said, even when I started playing back in 2020, I was a younger man then. You know, back when I had a full head of hair, a family. I'm kidding. Um, but it does make me feel kind of old in terms of this game. And this game is, I mean, geriatric for its type. There are all kinds of other gacha games that I've tried in the past that don't exist anymore, or that at least aren't popular anymore. And Raid just seems to keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. It seems to be more popular than ever. And speaking of game modes that they flash at you, so Faction Wars. We're going to skip this for now because it's basically going to be impossible. Not totally impossible. Like we could go in and solo some stuff with Kale and with Sunwak Kong. Can I even remember what factions are open today? Is Dark Elves one of them? I'm already blanking on what was open today. I did them last night on my main account. So we'll take a look. Because it can be good. You get glyphs, and you get resources for the forge. We probably won't be able to make anything good at the forge, but glyphs are free stats. So I do recommend doing Faction Wars for as far as you can on most days. But again, we're kind of pressed for time today, so we'll take a look. But we won't spend too much time on Faction Wars. And right now, I want to see if we can just push through this area. This is the area where you can get one of the best rare lizard men in the game. And his name is, of course, Gavin. Joe? No, I can't remember his name. That's really sad. We'll look on the roster after this. It's embarrassing I can't remember his name. He's great for Sand Devil. Maybe one of the best rare lizard men that there is, which is maybe a stretch. There aren't a lot of really good rare lizard men. It's one of those factions that I feel like they really deserve a good lizard man. You get Haruspex. He's kind of a good lizard man because he's got a revive, he's got a speed boost, and he's got a speed aura too. But you can only get him from a void shard. Muck Stalker. That's the name of the rare that you can get from this area. Muck Stalker. And he's great because he's got a... is it here? He's got a 2-turn sleep on a 3-turn cooldown, which could be reduced to a 2-turn cooldown, which, if you do the math, that's like sleep all the time. So you could single out one champion that is vulnerable to sleep and just keep them asleep. And Sand Devil, that's the thing that works on Sand Devil. You gotta sleep the Sand Devil. So, anyway, the Hell Hades series that's coming, which I'm thinking about participating in. And I'm calling it the Hell Hades one. I learned about it from Hell Hades. I'm not even sure if he's the one that started it, so I'm sorry if I'm misattributing something that might have been started by someone else, like maybe Deadwood Jedi started it. I don't know who started it anymore. I just don't know. But it does seem fun to get more creators involved. I've done one collab so far that I still need to post. Mr. B, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I really keep meaning to get to it. I just have to do a bit of editing to it that right now is a little outside of my my ability to get to. Anyway, I'm kind of wandering all over the place. I should stick to the new game thing. Like, I don't know, you guys following along, watching this whole thing, let me know in the comments Um, do you want to hear less commentary about other off-topic stuff? You know, when I have nothing to say, should I just shut up and focus on the game? Because maybe I should, because we just lost there. I'm not sure if it's because we have to focus more on gearing, but here, let's go to Faction Wars quickly.
Each faction must liberate their own crypt from the Crypt Keepers and reclaim the powerful glyphs that lie within. Take your crypt keys and head below ground, if you're brave enough.
So we've got Lizardmen, um, Ogres, and Dark Elves. So because it's a Dark Elf day, we may as well push Dark Elf as far as we can. We can even put in some food. That's handy. So let's just put in some food. We probably won't get 3 stars because this food will probably have a tough time surviving. We want it on auto. We want it on ×2. And I don't recall offhand if we get any points for this mode toward the tournament. So we really won't spend too much time on it. But one of the recommendations that I would make, I might even put this into the notes, come to think of it. Let's add one. 16, Faction Wars. I'd say focus on a few factions. I recall saying this yesterday, but I want to have a slightly better plan going. So let's say you started with El Hain. And this is one of the pluses to starting with El Hain. You could just make a point of farming the Palace of Aravia and looking for copies of Eris, looking for copies of, I think Avenger is the name of the other rare that you can get from there. And the more of those you get, the more you can just fill out the faction Guardian Ring, getting bonus stats for your starter. It's actually really beneficial to start with El Hain because I think she's the only one of the 4 where you can have an area that's just exclusive to high elves. So you go to Area 6, Palace of Aravia, you farm, say, 6/6, looking for speed boots. So you're getting speed boots. You're getting duplicates of rares so that you can fill out the faction ring so that you can make your El Hain stronger. And you're also just getting lots of high elf champions, so you should be able to better complete the high elf faction. If you're dark elves, you would do the same kind of thing. It's just a little less efficient, but you'd go to Area 4, Durham Forest, and you probably want to just hunt for... Oh, she's in the notes. Spirit Host. You probably want to hunt for Spirit Host. And basically, if you can fill out one faction and then push that faction really, really far, that's probably more beneficial to your account in the long run than it is to just try to scramble to do everything every day and maybe only push to about level 4 or level 5 before you can't complete it anymore, before you get good champions. It's just overwhelming to try to do too many of the factions. So I'd say if you started with Kale, for example, maybe you got lucky and pulled a cold heart. Maybe you didn't, but maybe you made a point of getting Spirit Host. Just go after and develop as many Dark Elves as you can. One of my favorite factions to build early game is Barbarians. Because we've already covered 2 that we want. We want War Maiden and we want Shield Guard. So if we can get War Maiden and Shield Guard, then say... if you're willing to do the account referral thing, you could get Jamarsa very early. Otherwise, you could wait till month 6 and get Shield of the Drakes. Once you have Shield of the Drakes, you should be able to clear even the final boss, as long as you build everybody. So we didn't even get that far, did we? But you know, we got a couple. So let's go to the dungeons. I think we should do Dragon. See if we can get any good gear from the Dragon. This is a pretty good one to start with. We will take Skink for the speed. And We'll fill the faction, or we'll fill the team with these champions. You know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and bring along Shield Guard. We should gear him. Here, we'll do one fight just with food. And then we'll build Shield Guard. Then we'll come back and we'll have maybe a better shot at doing some of this. I think between Sunwak Kong and Kale, we probably could push to about Dragon 7. And we're going to do this with every dungeon today. Maybe we'll get some decent gear out of it. The gear from dungeons is decidedly better than the gear from campaign, but the experience from campaign is better. So when trying to decide whether to spend your energy on campaign or dungeons, then that is the consideration. Do you need gear now, or do you need experience now? And spoiler alert, you're always going to need both. So sometimes you'll be able to create a team that doesn't need 5 to defeat a boss. Like if you could do a team that solos Dragon 20 or 2-man's Dragon 20, then you can still bring 3 food champions. You're getting some experience. The best dungeon for this is Spider. Spider is the fastest anyway. It gives the best experience, and you get the best silver for selling stuff from Spider. But it still depends on what gear you're going after. Early game, Dragon is maybe the best dungeon, or maybe it's tied with Spider, although Spider is really difficult for early games. And when looking at the new game codes, I was wondering who's going to be the best for Spider, and there is a new game code for Mordecai, who can use fire on an AoE, and that's extremely useful for Spider. Maybe the most accessible way to defeat the Spider is with an AoE Flame Champ, but there are only 2 guaranteed AoE Flame Champs I can think of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a Koth the Seared, who you get from secret rooms in the Doom Tower. That will take, goodness me, probably months to acquire, because I think you can only get up to 36 fragments out of 100 in a given month, and that's if you're doing all of the secret rooms in the Doom Tower normal, which is probably not viable for an early game account. You might only be able to do 1 or 2 secret rooms. So it could be something like 6 months before you can get a Koth the Seared. The other idea would be Drexthar Blood Twin, who will also take a number of months, because you get him from the Bazaar, which you have to do Tag Team Arena to do. So, Drexthar fragments. It occurs to me, you know what? That needs to go on the list. Drexthar fragments. They are well worth going after. Drexthar is an extremely good champion. You don't want to miss out on that. He is a legendary, maybe one of the best legendaries in the game. Honestly, seriously, when it comes to player versus monster, player versus boss, player versus enemy. He's maybe one of the best. There are a lot of bosses that you can 2-man using Shill of the Drakes and Drexthar Blood Twin. Drexthar Blood Twin also has one of the best multipliers on an AoE attack in the game, and he's defense-based. So I'll probably devote a whole episode to Tag Team Arena, which I will admit right now is my least favorite area in the entire game. I hate it with a passion. It is awful because it's basically just arena, but now you need 3 teams instead of 1, and the tiering system is awful. It's been a long time since they changed the tiering system to allow more people into higher ranks, so you can often be fighting endgame players when you're in bronze or silver, let alone the gold area, and you want to get into gold if you can. My endgame account, which took me 3.5 years, or I guess it's 3.25 years so far that I've been in this game. 3.25 years, and I'm in gold 3. And even then, I can't always stay in gold 3. But man, Plarium, if you're watching this, I think it's time to just consider letting more people into the higher tiers, or at least removing the bottleneck to what we can do with our resources when we go into the bazaar. There's no reason why when we're in the bazaar we can't spend our hard-earned resources on, say, a 6-star accessory, which is only available when you're in gold. Let us get it whenever we want. Or the shards as well. Like, you could get a sacred shard, but only when you're in gold. You can get a void shard, but only when you're in silver. And it seems unnecessary. But I suppose this rant is also off topic, because right now we're doing the dungeons. So, sure, what can I say about the dungeons? Well, if you started with Kale, he's probably the best one of the 4 for dungeons, because he does place these poisons. You can see them showing up all the time. Every time the dragon gets a turn, it ticks down a little. Dragon is immune to turn meter. So, it's even better to have poison when you're up against a monster that you can't stop using turn meter manipulation. Are we even going to make it? I don't know. This is going to be a rough one. Nope. So, Dragon's Lair 6. That's as far as we could push with the gearing we've got. So, I mean, we could have another look. Maybe it's time, in fact, to do a bit of regearing. So Kale, I wanted him to be more survivable. At this point, did we get a chest today? From Lifesteal? We did, and its attack percent. So this is gonna be good. We're gonna put an attack percent chest on Kale. He's gonna do more damage. He's maybe gonna have a little bit less survivability, but honestly, a 3-star chest piece is not particularly good. Plus, my idea of making Sunwak Kong the target really didn't pan out. So let's see. He gets more crit rate, he gets more speed, he gets more attack. He is taking a big hit on HP, but that's because I'm breaking up a set here. I could give him a life hat. But here's what I'm thinking. Let's give him a full set of lifesteal right now. If we can. We'll just close this down. Open up lifesteal. And flat HP. Don't like the gauntlets. What about this helmet? It's got some crit rate on it. I'll take the helmet. Honestly, I mean, we could, you know what? I'll roll it up to 8. Just to see if we get any extra crit rate. But in lifesteal, he should last quite a bit longer. This helmet really sucks. But we'll wear it anyway. So we put on the helmet. We could either go for a shield or a weapon. Let's see. That has crit rate and accuracy on it. That's got accuracy, crit rate, and crit damage on it. Wow, okay. But he takes a bigger hit to attack. Alright, you know what? I'll make it the shield. So we'll roll it up to 4. Defense percent 1. Defense percent 2. This is amusing. Let's roll it up to 8. I actually don't recommend rolling 1-star gear up to 8. I'm not sure I recommend using it at all, unless you absolutely need to set bonuses. So just for the first couple of days, we'll put this on. And he's got an HP percent boosting set. That's pretty cool. We still don't have any rings, eh? So he's in lifesteal now. So he will steal back some health. Maybe that'll help him stay alive. Maybe I could even get him a little more speed. I think we can at least afford to roll this up to 12. And I was saying this yesterday, and Dum I rolled something else up to 12, but really it should have been Kale's boots. This is the most important thing on the account right now. So hey, look at that. It went in the right place for us. So, and yeah, I still don't think we should roll up this one, but maybe we could even roll up the chest plate, get a little more damage. Plarium, I can't believe you're not letting us roll up to 12 at this juncture. We have to do it one at a time, although you know what? We're having worse luck with this one. But it's worth it. This is what we want to spend our silver on. 100%. Yeah, I think we'll make it to 12. And look at that. 1 in speed, 2 in crit rate. That is not bad. I'm not sure, but I think the starter gear that you get on the daily login bonuses might have prescribed roles in it. If that's the case, well done, Plarium. Thank you. If that's not the case, then I guess we just got lucky, in which case, thank you, RNGesus. We did want to look at Sunwak Kong as well. I guess this was part of the problem, is that we didn't roll up the helmets. So why not? Let's roll it up to 8. Oh, come on. You can do it. Okay. Oh, and the boots. You know what? I wonder, do we have any speed boots? We do have one. We could roll these up to 8. I think it's probably more worthwhile to put speed boots on Sunwak Kong, even if they're not particularly fast. And we can even take a second piece of crit rate just so we get a little bit better crit rate on him. That'll be useful. So we got plus 12 to speed. I'm actually going to go to the fitting room, just in case I don't actually want to do this. I really like the fitting room. So we'll take speed off, and we'll just look at the crit rate stuff. So this is better for crit rate, worse for attack. Wow, we could put on this helmet. That's plus 12. Why is that better? Oh, I guess because I have substat bonuses on the others. So this is probably the way to go. It's the worst helmet, and yet it's the best bonus because there's crit rate on everything else. So we're going to take the helmet. Because it does occur to me, the best two pieces are the weapon and the shield. So we'll replace the helmet. We'll have better crit rate. And we're going to go right back in and we're going to fight that dragon. I think we'll be able to take him this time. So we try that on. We're going up to 36%. I can live with that. I'm wondering if we even want... Well, let's see what we can get up to in the tavern. So I also said that I wanted Shield Guard. So let's invest in Shield Guard. We max him out. We're going to upgrade his rank. Maybe we'll take these two. For gearing, we can try. Actually, that's Force of Habit. If it's equipped, I need it. So we're going to take stuff that's not equipped. I'm going to go for Defense Percent. I think that's going to be the first really good thing for him. So he's got Defense Percent boots, although I would like him to be fast. So destroy 3. I'll take it. This is the chess piece we want. He is going to be a third semi-permanent member of the party. I'm still not sure if the plan is ultimately going to be to keep Shield Guard or if he's going to become food. But this can actually be a good place to be. Not being sure whether somebody is permanent or food. Because then you can just use them anyway, you can level them anyway, and then you decide when the time comes. When I need 5-star chickens, maybe he's going to be one of them, maybe not. I also want to upgrade War Priest. So these are pretty good stats. Remind me what's in speed. We don't have any other primary speed ones. That's too bad. Okay. So from defense percent, can we get gauntlets? Yes, we can get these. And crit rate is actually a good thing to have on Shield Guard. Because he gets a little bit of turn meter boost every time he scores a crit rate. So ideally, when you're looking at his permanent gear, you want to get his crit rate to 100%. But that's in an ideal world. We don't live in that world right now. You could even go substats, just speed, just anything that's got a speed substat on it. That's probably what we want. And watch our silver slowly deplete. So we got 4 speed, not too shabby. Wow, he's slow. Guess that's the one really rough thing about him. He is slow. So let's take the shield. I do kind of in an abstract way like the idea of developing our first destroy set because we might actually use it against the Scarab King. But again, not in the first 3 days. But let's put this shield on. And we just need a weapon. Anything going to give us a useful bonus? Not really. So this is just the best looking piece that's left. So let's put it on. So we get his speed to a bullet fast 100. So his defense is 361. These numbers are so low. It's kind of absurd for me. These are numbers I'm not used to seeing. I'm not used to using 2 and 3-star champions. So let's go back maybe to the tavern. We could probably even very quickly max out his level with this, and then upgrade his rank. We don't even have enough. So what else can we toss in? Here, we could grab her. We don't have any blue potions at all. Yikes. Okay, well, let's grab this guy then. Max that out. And we are going to run out of food champions really quickly. In fact, we're more or less out of them. Yeah, I don't have enough. Don't have enough chickens. I guess we can pull more of these guys. So we get more 2 stars. So I can work with that. Yeah, we could probably... I'll do it this way. Start with him. I'm going to use... And these are for fusions, but you know what? We're not going to worry about that fusion for now. It is too far off in the horizon, and uncommon champions are ubiquitous. So I'm not going to worry for now that we are putting off the Broadmaw. You know what? The Broadmaw fusion is maybe worthwhile if you're looking for a good reviver early. Now I think, okay, we'll add that to the list. And I'm going to consider where that goes as a goal. But it is worth bearing in mind that the Broadmaw fusion, he's actually a decent reviver, and he's a good lizard man. For now, let's get an extra rank for... Why is this one locked? Oh, I put him in classic defense. Okay. So let's just put somebody else in. We'll put... We'll put Shield Guard in. That's who we'll put. So we go to the tavern. We're going to upgrade Shield Guard's rank. We're going to get him. And no, not that one. These 3. Here we go. And do I want to even put... Let's just do 1 brew. Just so he gets a nice bunch of stats. And maybe doesn't die immediately. So we're going to go back into the dragon. We're going to fight the dragon. Plus, he's the right affinity for this dragon. So we'll get rid of her, because she's completely wrong. He is completely right. At this point, increasing Kale's damage seems to be pretty gimpy. And you know what? Maybe we want a food champion in this slot. I don't know. We'll make it Rocktooth for now. So far, this team feels more powerful. See if Shield Guard can pull his weight. But once we get Shield Guard to maybe 5 stars, he's going to start to feel like a powerful carry as well. We can get Kale to 5 stars. Maybe Kale is the first one to prioritize to 5 stars. Then we'll get Shield Guard to 5 stars. Then we'll get Kale to 6. Then we'll get Sunwak Kong to 6. And then we'll see where we're at. Of course, with each rank upgrade, things get that much more time consuming. It's bad enough getting somebody to 5 stars. Getting somebody to 6 stars takes an awful long time. So this is why I recommend building one champion at a time rather than trying to build out a whole team. But really, towards the start of the game, you want a team, at least somewhat. And this team made it. So can they make it through Dragon 7? It's a good affinity for them. It's Spirit. We don't have any Force on the team. So it's just Magic, which has the advantage, and Spirit, which is even. But the consideration of Broadmaw, I hadn't thought about this. And now I'm thinking Broadmaw might be the best reviver to make the goal. He can revive even more champions than Shield of the Drakes can. He brings less healing. But and Shield of the Drakes has her own stuff, right? Like Shield of the Drakes, she's got an AoE stun, which is just awesome because you want crowd control when you're fighting through the waves. She's got other bonuses that she gives you, but you have to wait 6 months. You don't have to wait 6 months to get Broadmaw, you just have to complete the Broadmaw fusion. So we'll look into doing the Broadmaw fusion and we'll see how quickly we can do it, because he might end up being the best reviver on the account. Although he's probably still inferior to Jamarsa, who may arguably be easier to get, as long as you're willing to do the referral stuff. So, I don't know. We'll play through the game, we'll see how it goes. Is Kale gonna make it? You get a lot more health back if he's got his Master Ace, which he doesn't. So, I think we've just hit a wall here. We're not going to waste too much more energy on Dragon. But we are going to switch gears to, say, let's do Spider. So we'll put in Kale, Sunwak Kong, and Shield Guard. Then we'll bring... then we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. We'll bring in 2 food champions. And how are we doing on time here? 52 minutes in. Like I did yesterday, I think I'm going to try to limit myself to 2 hours for the first day. And since we're coming up on that 1 hour mark, what I'll do is check on the tournament, see how well we're doing in terms of progress. And as I said, we can take 3 days to do the tournament because I'm just going to start a little bit earlier on the next day. It'll probably be just a couple hours from now. Me time. And we'll just aim to get the 1,000 points that we need. So if I could get about 333 points per day, we'll get there. I think we did more than that on the first day. So these spiderlings are absolutely brutal. This is one of those places where if you were around when they had Ultimate Death Knight, he made dealing with Spider a lot easier. It pays to have a sense of who your Spider tank is. Right now, it's him, because he's got the lowest HP, and with his Shake It Off ability, which currently doesn't do anything because I didn't ascend him, yeah, I need to ascend this guy. If we even have the potions for it. Maybe we need to go to the potion dungeons. So now he's dead. We might be able to make it through the Spider, but basically, here's the deal when it comes to Spider. If you can't kill the Spider quickly, you want a good Spider tank. And what that means is it's the person that is going to get targeted by all the Spiderlings. If you have somebody in counterattack who's got an area of effect, particularly if they have an area of effect with some crowd control, that can really help deal with Spider. So, for instance, you could use a well, any rare that has an AoE on their A1, like Soulbond Boyer, Bellower, Abyssal, Banshee. Put them in a stun set or put them in a provoke set. Stun set's probably better, because really you want to get hit as little as possible. And you could also put that champion in Frostbite. So, actually, how easy is Frostbite to get from here? It's really not easy. You'd have to put them in a Frost set. So again, we're seeing just how out of touch I am when it comes to playing an early game. Like I keep getting these ideas, but they don't work because it's gear that is just not available to a new player. Anyway, we made it through Spider 1. This might be it. We may only be able to do Spider 1, and it's a demon spawn ring, so that doesn't really help us yet. Spider's probably the hardest dungeon for a new account, honestly. So we can quickly go back to the tavern and let's have a look at Ascension. We can't ascend anyone because we don't have any arcane potions. And we need even low level versions of this potion. Okay. We could probably ascend our Shield Guard. This is another reason I recommend Shield Guard. He's just easier to ascend than the other champions that are on the list. So we go to the Arcane Keep. Somehow we're completely out of arcane potions. Right? Or is it the other way around? I think it's the Spirit Keep. We just need to get some low-level spirit potions. So we'll come in with we'll use Skink because I like the increased attack he can give Kale. That's probably going to be helpful. And yeah, why not? Or maybe even him. Because he's increasing the attack of all the magic champions. So we'll do it this way. Magic champions are going to be good at the Spirit Keep. Spirit champions are going to be good at the Force Keep. Force champions are going to be good at the Magic Keep. This boss has the ability to heal herself, which makes heal reduction extremely useful, which Rocktooth actually brings. This is part of why I'm considering maybe making him a permanent member of the team. But we'll see about that. If we happen to get lucky and pull a Cold Heart, we have the only heal blocker we're going to need. Did I hit replay? I meant to hit next, but I think I hit replay. Again, force of habit. And we'll play as far as we can until she gets to the point where she's healing up a lot. Because that'll wall us out. You either need heal reduction or you need total turn meter control on her. Or she's just going to heal herself forever. And you'll leave it running for half an hour and you'll come back and you'll wonder, why is she still at full? Well, that's why she's at full. She can heal herself. That's her thing. We are about to discover together at what point her healing becomes too terrible for us to deal with. But this is great. We're getting 10 tournament points every time we push this dungeon. Maybe it's just for each increment. I now forget how the point scoring works. Now that I think of it, I think you actually get more points the lower the level of dungeon you get to for the tournament. So we really want to get those 1,000 points. And if we can actually win the tournament, that's another thing. I don't know if we have a serious opponent, but we'll probably figure that out the next time we look. So we got 13 points. So yeah, it's increasing with each level we complete. So let's keep pushing. I also noticed a little thing flash out there in the corner. They're the challenges and the missions, which I've kind of been ignoring because we're pressed for time, and I am trying to prioritize that tournament. But once we're through the tournament, I am going to start to prioritize the missions and the challenges because they have good rewards. They're one-time rewards, but they're good ones. You can get books, you can get shards, you can get other things that help develop champions. I think we can also get a bunch of potions for them, come to think of it. But I think we need a few potions to complete some of them in the first place. But my first goal is to get Shield Guard to the 3rd level of Ascension. That should give him his Shake It Off ability, and that's going to start to pay dividends. Every time he gets something on him, he just shakes it off every single round. Extremely powerful uncommon champion. Maybe the best in the game, or maybe tied for Armiger. And they're both Spirit as well. So when we start to push through Arena, and we're looking for Great Hall bonuses, we're probably going to start with Spirit just because of how much Spirit we've got already. We've already got Shield Guard, Sunwak Kong. We'll probably end up with Armiger. We've got High Katoon coming in at the end of the month. She will probably be the speed lead that we use for the first couple of months, if we're not already using Diabolist. I guess we'll see. So it's often not even enough to just bring heal reduction, because she also puts the block debuffs on herself. So it can pay to also have somebody that can remove those buffs. If you start with Sun Wukong, you've got that covered. First time I played through this game, this boss was such a pain for me because I did not have Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong is making this easier for sure. He almost feels like a cheat code. I mean, even in the end game, he's like a cheat code. He is a really fantastic champion. And I can't believe they made him free. I'm looking forward to what the next free champion is, because that's, I believe, coming soon. So we're going to have a second free legendary to play with. Second free legendary that we probably won't be able to book for months. Maybe never on this account. We'll have to see what it is, but it's been hyped a lot, so I'm expecting something good, but you never know. The very first free legendary that they gave us was Ninja. And everybody wants Ninja. He was just turbo amazing. And then they introduced the second one, Alexander. And no one cares about this champion. It's really kind of amusing how it's not like he's bad. He's just not as good as Ninja. And after that, they never made as bleh a free champion again. All the free champions after Alexander were better than Alexander. And arguably, some of them were even better than Ninja. Like, I'd argue the best one, Sun Wukong, maybe Ultimate Death Knight, maybe Rhonda. Maybe it's a three-way tie. They're all fantastic. Then you have champions like Deliana, who's extremely good on an early game account. Even on a mid-game account, I'd say Deliana's great. Are we reaching the point where we're walled out? I think we are. Yeah, we can't. She's healing too fast. So this is the bottleneck for us. Stage 7. So, why don't we check the tournament? See how we're doing. Whenever it decides it wants to load. I got a new computer recently. I'm going to switch my channel to the new computer at some point when it's convenient. Maybe that'll solve this problem and maybe it won't. I'm not really sure what happens here. It doesn't even do this with the events tab. It does this with the tournaments tab and not the events tab. I think some of the events are still affected somewhat. So my guess is it's a coding issue. The problem isn't me. The problem is you, Plarium, and your game. You've done something wrong, and it isn't working properly. But some of the other content creators, I see them go to this page and it loads right away. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've done something weird with my laptop. So here, refresh page, please. It doesn't do this on my phone. It only does this on my laptop. And it makes it very rough to try to make content about tournaments and stuff because this page is just killer. I mean, I don't want to just sit here tapping my fingers, twiddling my thumbs. Okay, so we got 601. That's pretty good. Um, wow, there are a lot of people that are serious about going right now. So never mind, we are not winning this tournament. We're probably not even placing third. But we do have a free 3-star chicken. I mean, we might even want to keep this champion, but he's probably just a 3-star chicken. So we need 400 more points. I'm pretty confident we can get that between today and tomorrow. So let's revisit the market. We get a Yeoman. Yeoman is an interesting one. He's got 3 hits. We might actually use him to help fight the Fire Knight. I think we might use him just as a very early game way through Fire Knight. I don't see anything else we really need here. I'm kind of tempted by the shields. We can't afford the shield. Never mind. I'm not tempted by the shield. We can't afford the shield. Let's just go back to yeah. Okay, I know where we are. So we're gonna try to ascend him. Look at that. He's lit up. We can ascend him. First star of ascension. Excuse me. And hey, look at that. We can do it. We've got the ability. So here it is. He can now remove 1 debuff every turn. Awesome stuff. And I can't believe this is a 1-turn cooldown. We don't even need to book him for it. We just get it. What a fantastic champion. So it'd be nice to book him out here. So we'll probably end the day by farming Barbarian again. Because I think we even got kind of unlucky that we only got 1 shield guard. It'd be nice to see if we can get some duplicates to use as books for shield guard. I am not willing to use the rare books. That's a waste. It's too easy to get duplicate shield guards. But what we'll do, first of all, who else can we ascend? I guess that's it. We're out of potions again. But that's cool. We got what I wanted. So we'll go back to the dungeons. We'll go to, say, Ice Golem. Place where we can maybe get frozen. So we're going to take the HP aura. And then we'll just take some food. And we'll push Ice Golem. See how far we can get. I wasn't exactly keeping track of how many points we got by pushing the early stages of the Spirit Keep dungeons, but I think for the first level we got 7. For the second level, I think we got 10. For level 4 or 5, we got to 20. So I don't know. I haven't been counting, but I feel like each dungeon that we push, if we can push to about level 6, we probably have no problem reaching the 1,000-point threshold. I am not going to embarrass myself or waste your time by trying to do the math on it in front of you. It'll take too long. I'd have to go to the tournament tab again, and we saw how slow that loads. I don't want to deal with that right now. But maybe sometime could load it onto my phone and just take a gander and figure out exactly what you need for the points, because that would be good. If I'm doing a proper best start guide, it'd be good to be able to list the points. You also get more points for pushing campaign in harder difficulty levels, which we may or may not reach because it may not matter. We may not need to reach there. And higher difficulty levels of campaign aren't necessarily that much more efficient. You get more experience, you get more silver, but it also costs more energy. So there's a trade-off. You also want to run a certain number of arena fights per day. Yeah, we should do that for today. Do at least the 5 so that we get the free energy tank. Maybe do enough to complete all the daily bonuses. The daily bonuses help us get gems as well. So we got the 10 points for stage 2. That's 7 for stage 1, 10 for stage 2. We'll find out what it is for stage 3 in a moment. Or, you know, you already know because you were paying better attention than I was when I did stage 3 of the Spirit Keep. I recommend Lifesteal on Shield Guard as well. So we're going to put Kale in Lifesteal and we're going to put Shield Guard in Lifesteal. We might even put Kale in something else and focus on, say, accuracy Kale, just to make him good at poisoning, and have Shield Guard be our solo farmer. But really, I think Kale is the better solo farmer. There are content creators that have argued Shield Guard is better. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's the best overall of the accessible champions. Because then there's some others that you may or may not get for a long time. Like, I use Skull Crown on my endgame account, but you need Void Shards to get her, and then you need to be lucky. Anyway, it's 13 for stage 3. Moving on to stage 4. Here's the trick to Ice Golem. The more damage you do quickly to Ice Golem, the more frequently he does his counterattack. So he's one of those tricky bosses where you don't really want to do too much damage to him too quickly, or he counterattacks and does lots of damage. It seems like it's not worth getting rid of his minions because he's just going to counterattack and revive them, but this move hits way harder if his minions are still up. So really, when on auto, you notice they go after the minions first frequently, and that's what you want. You want the minions to be down, because if those minions are up when he does his counterattack, I think he ignores 100% of your defense, which can kill you. Even at very low levels, but at higher levels it will kill you. If one of them is standing, as was the case with a number of those attacks, he ignores 50% of your defense, which is a lot more survivable. As defense approaches 0, that's where the damage numbers start to get really extreme. So we're going to keep pushing until we fail. I'm not going to try to guess that we'll fail on the next level. I'm just going to keep pushing. When we fail, we fail. The game gives us lots of energy to start with, so I'm not so worried about wasting energy at this juncture. Because it's not like we're going to waste too much by trying the same level that we can't do again and again. We're just going to push until we fail the first time. And then we'll change something. Now, when you can get block revive champions, like a Armiger, for example, it's on the list, somebody that we want. If we get an even better one, then we'll skip Armiger. Like, if we get really, really lucky and pull Fenax, that's one of my favorite champions in the game. It's theoretically possible we pull Fenax, then we might still want Armiger just because he does damage based on enemy max HP. So his damage would actually scale better than Fenax's, particularly early game, particularly with the kind of gear that we're going to be working with. Gavin, I'm constantly trying to remind you, I'm trying to remind myself, this is an early game. We're not going to necessarily have access to really good gear. So Armiger might actually be the best in the early game. He'll be easier to build too, for sure. Because with Fenax, you want to build him with epic books. Have we even pulled an epic book yet? I don't think we have. And we probably won't pull one for a while. That you eventually get them from the missions and challenges and stuff, but with Armiger, you just look for duplicates of Armiger. And you can book him out with that. But so far, we haven't been fortunate enough to see an Armiger, and there is no area that we can farm Armiger from, unfortunately. So I recommend Lifesteal for Shield Guard in part because that block heal, if he's fast enough, he can shake off the block heal so that when his turn comes around, the Lifesteal will always kick in for him. Otherwise, when our heal gets blocked, that is rough. Like when heal block is on Kale, he can't heal. Not that he can recover that much without his masteries. And this is why you want the full 800 gems to just exchange for the masteries, because once we get that, every now and again, he's going to proc War Master, and by every now and again, I mean like 60% of the time. You proc War Master, you get a huge chunk of health back. Just absolutely huge when you're fighting bosses. It's even more potent and even more important when you don't have particularly good gear. You don't need accuracy for it. You don't need anything for it. You just need the mastery. And we do have the XP doubler for the next 15 hours, so this is good. It'll last until the end of day 3. And after that, we do have another one in here that we can use. We have 2. Excellent. And we even have some auto battles. You know what? I'll probably want to claim these just before the end of the day, so that we can just farm for War Maiden, because we got 400 energy. We're probably not even gonna farm through that, because 400 energy, that's more than 400 campaign runs. So for now, we have pushed Arcane Keep already. We could try to push it a couple more levels now. We're probably a little better off. Let's take her out. Actually, let's take both of them out. We'll put him in the lead. We'll take him. Take Rocktooth. Just so we're getting a little bit of benefit from the XP that drops. Once we get Kale to 5 stars, he is going to feel more powerful. I think the way the maths work, with each rank you gain on a champion, you get about 50% more powerful when maxed out. So you become a little less powerful each time you rank up, but by the time you get about a third of the way to max level at the next rank, you're already as powerful as you were at the max rank of the previous rank. I don't know the exact maths though. I just know that you get more powerful as you rank up. That's obvious enough. The exact maths, somebody out there's worked that out. I don't know what it is. Wow, we're really flying through these now. I bet we can beat at least stage 7. So once we get back to the missions and challenges, there are shards in there. I recommend just pulling the shards immediately for the first little bit. Kind of just you know, don't wait, because you need champions. You need champions now when you start playing the game. And I think they do that on purpose. They're kind of training you to want to use shards as soon as you get them. Whereas in the mid game, particularly if you've got a good clan boss team, It occurs to me we still haven't even attempted Clan Boss. I talk about that being the most important mode, and we haven't attempted it yet. Is that even on the notes? I mean, I have that as the end goal. The Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss team is the end goal, but that is a long way off. That may take us 6 months before we have a viable team. We might be able to do it in 3 months. Not really sure. But it's worth doing every day that you can because you can get lucky and pull shards and books early. We could get rare books. We can get ancient shards. Not every day. And the bonuses really rank up quickly when you get up to hard and brutal. I think brutal is where the rewards start to get really good. So if we can get a brutal team up and running as quickly as possible, that would be an asset. I'm going to add that to the notes. Is this even visible anymore? Yeah, I'm already off the page. Anyway, we can't do that anymore. So let's switch to magic. This is the one that's going to help our starter. So we'll put in we'll put in these two again. This is going to be more awkward. Normally, I'd recommend using your best Force champions. We weren't lucky. We didn't get War Maiden. And we really don't have any Force champions that we're planning on using yet. So we're just going to have to lean heavily on Kale. That said, maybe I could have put Skink in the lead just to give Kale more kill. But let's see. Make a bit more room here. 19. We'll just go Clan Boss, gradations. So we want Brutal. I think is the first one that I'd say. Just boot it to Brutal as quickly as you can. Because by the time you're fighting Brutal, the gear that drops is pretty good. I think the minimum by Brutal is that it's going to be a 5-star magic, which is pretty good for the gear. And you got a pretty good chance of getting a Void Shard, and you're going to start to want those. Especially if you're hoping to get lucky and pull one of the really, really good Void Rares early. The ones to watch out for example, number 1 is Cold Heart. That's pretty much everybody's favorite. Kurzad Deep Heart is one of the best ones. We've got Gear Grinder, we got Bellower, we got Fellhound, we got Horospex. Who else is really good? We got Reliquary Tender as well. She's got a cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown, so she can revive and cleanse the party. Fantastic rare. And then there are a bunch of rares that can drop from Void Shards that disappoint people when they pull them. They're not all winners. That's the nature of the game. So how are we doing on time? It's 5:30 where I am now. That implies we've been at it for an hour and a half, but I think I got a bit of a late start here. So let's hit next. I'm just going to switch tabs again. Yep. Close to an hour and a half. Hour, 24 minutes. So we'll go for another 35 minutes. Then I'm going to queue up some auto battles. Maybe we'll get lucky this time and pull a War Maiden. I can even try to push campaign a little bit further. But the the Deadlands, where I farm War Maiden, it's not the best for experience. The best area for experience is the final area, which is called, it's in the notes here, the Brimstone Path. So that's the best area. Area 12-3 is probably the best for farming overall, just because you get shields, which can be sold for more. But I like to farm 9-3 when I'm looking for War Maiden. And 10-3 is another really good one for when you're looking for Muckstalker. They're both extremely good champions to go after, and in fact 11-3 is pretty good as well. Because if you get lucky, you can pull Executioner from there, and he's another really good rare champion. And they're all campaign farmable. Galarian was very nice to us in that way. In almost every area, there's one decent rare that you can farm. Starting even in the first area, I'd argue in Kirok Castle, there are two. Valerie's extremely good. Conqueror can also be extremely good, because if you need somebody who can block revive, I believe he is the only campaign farmable champion that can do that for you. So if you're in the arena and you're struggling because there's Sunwak Kong everywhere and you can't get rid of him, you might consider making a Conqueror. It's not like he's an endgame viable champion, but early on, he might be what you want. He's the right affinity to completely smack Sunwak Kong. At least I think he is. He is magic, right? I might be wrong. He might be spirit. He's not the wrong affinity anyway. I did say we'd get to campaign today as well, but I still don't have a speed champion. We still don't have War Maidens, so we have nobody to drop defense either. We could just put in a slew of nukers. We could basically go Sun Wukong, Shield Guard, Kale. We don't even really have a good fourth champion yet. If we had Spirit Host, we'd at least have somebody who could just do increase attack for the rest of the party. Although Shield Guard is defense-based, so he doesn't even benefit from that. So I might recommend something like War Maiden, Spirit Host, Sun Wukong, Kale. Or maybe Diabolist, if we could get her. We get lucky, pull a Diabolist and a War Maiden. Then it doesn't matter which two nukers we use, and we can use any one support champ and 3 nukers. Sky's the limit, really. And at this point, it's looking likelier that we do it that way, because we got Shield Guard, so we're building him. If we get War Maiden, then it'll be her. And we'll just start with those 4. And try to make them as fast as possible. But having somebody like Diabolist takes a lot of the pressure off the other champions for needing to build them fast, because she's going to make them faster. She's increasing the turn meter. She's the only campaign farmable one I can think of, but you do get High Katoon at the end of month 1. She's even better than Diabolist, probably. Diabolist is technically faster, which is amusing. So if you build Diabolist right, she could be even better. And of course, you can use 2 of them. You could use a Diabolist and a High Katoon. You get the benefit of High Katoon's speed aura. You get the benefit of Diabolist's faster speed. And you can make your champions even slower because you're using 2 different speed boosts and speeding into it. So we're probably getting to the point where we're not going to be able to push further. This shield is really rough to deal with. So somebody that can remove shields, I mean, Sun Wukong can sort of do it, but again, he's the wrong affinity. So we'll say stage 7 is as far as we can push there. Let's try Force. Force is going to be hard on Kale, but we do have a couple of champions that are going to help us out. These 2. And aside from that, food. And go. So we'll put force as far as we can. We'll head to the arena. No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at the daily quests. I think we should complete our dailies. That's probably the most important thing. So let's see. It's 7, then 10, then 13, right? Points for the tournament. So that's 30 points. Even doing the first 3 levels of the dungeons, we are going to be doing... Well, we're probably not even going to be able to reach stage 3 of the spider dungeon. So let's say that's 8 dungeons, 8 times 30. That's 240 points we can get just from the first 3 levels of dungeon. And we did get past level 3 of some of them. So I'm pretty confident that we should be able to make our quota for the tournament. Maybe we'll make this the last force stage for now. I don't know. If it's particularly fast, I might try stage 4, then stage 5. But we do have one more day. We can come back tomorrow. And also, with each new day, we're going to have slightly better gear for Kale or somebody. "35 seconds is pretty good. Let's do one more." So they've got Sorceress on their team. First time I played through, I actually thought Sorceress was good, and I started building her. This is right before I got myself a War Maiden, who's even better. She is not bad as a discount War Maiden, but she's not really a proper substitute for War Maiden. She's somebody you use if you have nobody else. But we didn't even get lucky and get her on this account. So we're going to keep trying for War Maiden. But let's say we push into the next difficulty level and we get Sorceress instead of War Maiden, then maybe we'll try using her as the party debuffer, but I don't know. So it looks like it's getting harder. So if we can push every dungeon to stage 4, I guess that's 45 tournament points per dungeon. So let's take a look at the quests. This is often the place I start. And look at that. Without even meaning to, we've done almost everything. We basically just need the classic arena. Fight here 3 times. We lost last time, but you know what? This time it's going to be different. We're going to use him. We still don't even really have a good 4th, eh? We could use Skink. We'll use Skink. Just, you know what? We're not even using the aura though. Let's use her because I like the speed aura. Having Sunwak Kong is a big bonus. Come to think of it, I mentioned like High Katoon. You can take advantage of her aura. What am I thinking? We have Sunwak Kong. We don't need High Katoon for that. So Diabolist might actually just straight up be better. She's going to be easier to build. She requires a lower order of books. I think that's what we want. I think we want Diabolist. So maybe we will push all the way to Area 12 if we can and try to farm for a Diabolist. Maybe that's more important than War Maiden, just given that we have Sunwak Kong. But it would be nice to have Diabolist and War Maiden, or Spirit Host. And then we could run 2 supports, 2 nukers. That's probably a good balance for the arena. So far, because we actually geared our champions, we're winning fights. This is nice, and we're getting 5 tournament points each time we win a fight. This is good stuff. This will also help towards the tournament. We get 5 points every time. There's no gradation. It doesn't progressively get harder. Well, it does progressively get harder because eventually you're fighting opponents that you cannot take. But at least we haven't reached that stage yet. Like, this team looks exceptionally gimpy. Also, I think we already met our quota of 5. But we're on a roll. So maybe it's not even super imperative that we build a proper arena team on day 3, but I am gonna have an arena focused day. I just don't know when that's gonna be yet, because it really would benefit the account to make that as soon as possible. I might even just push until we lose. I kind of don't want to fight this team just because it's got a reviver on it, but I don't know. I mean, she's only 4 stars. Let's try it. We'll focus on her too, just to make sure she goes down first, or as soon as possible anyway. Oh, she didn't even prioritize her revive. That's strange. So this team looks easy enough. I mean, they got a level 40 Galek, which might be more powerful. They got a Conqueror as well, so that's something that could theoretically have killed our Sunwak Kong. Although, again, I keep forgetting. You're probably back there thinking, like, Gavin, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about? You haven't ascended Sunwak Kong yet. He doesn't get himself back up. I know. Okay? I suck. I keep forgetting. So we go to the quests. We're gonna claim this. We get this bonus. Take that and that. Now we can wait on these because a full energy tank is worth more and more as we get towards 130. So I'm gonna hold off on those. We can't even do advanced quests yet. All right. Do we have any token refills? We do. Let's do some more. Let's do some more arena. It's 5 points every time. It's nice and fast at this level. A lot of these teams are using that new starter champion that you get from that commercial. Come to think of it, I think there might be a link referral code that gets you that, so we probably could have started a new game with Oboro and Sunwak Kong. I may have screwed up there. Whoops. I'll have to look into that. It's too late now. We've started this game. I might start over, as I said, the competition that's coming up. I think a week from Friday. So 10 days from now. If that's the case, and you can get Oboro and Sunwak Kong, then that might be a thing to bear in mind. I'll wanna tell my clanmates about that too, or the ones that I enter this with. It's possible nobody else is gonna want to do this with me in the clan. That's something I can accept. In which case, I can probably find other people out there. I don't know. Any of you out there watching? Any of you interested in something like that? It's an intriguing thing. I'm still not sure if I'm definitely going to do it or if I'm just going to keep up this one, because I'm not going to do both. Both is too much. It really is too much. So we haven't lost a single fight, have we? Which means times 5, 15 times 5 is 75. That's 75 points towards the tournament. That's not nothing. Where were we at last time? 600? And we've done more dungeon runs. We might even get it today at this rate. Would be nice to not have to worry about it. There was another time I started a new account, knew what I was doing. This is before I became a YouTuber. And I was like the only person taking it seriously, so I got that shard. It probably didn't turn out to be anything good, though. See if it loads any better. I'm hoping it does. Novice tournament, that's a good sign. 908. We're only 100 points off. I like that. So, might as well collect this stuff too, come to think of it. Just try to be more vigilant of that stuff. Just make sure I'm not missing any daily stuff. We got all these points. Might as well take this now. Okay, so we're going to head back to the dungeons. At this point, we haven't attempted Fire Knight yet. I don't know how well this is going to go. We may even want to try to manual once we reach the Fire Knight. You know what? Here's just a quick thing that might help us a little. Remember when we found Yeoman in the shop? I think Yeoman might be what we need. And we even have one brew to help build Yeoman. So we'll take you, you, and you, and you. Nope. You. That's 10. We're going to rank up. So he'll be 2. So it's not so pathetic. And then we're even going to kind of splurge here. Kind of. What do we have from speed? We have 4 pieces. So is there any speed on any of these? Not really. So here, we'll just try the fitting room. Let's try on this and this. I mean, we could I'm not going to bother rolling this stuff up. Try that on, try that on. So we've got just a little bit more speed on them. I don't even have speed boots. So why don't we just look at substats, speed. What has any speed? And let's specify here. This shield has a speed substat. So we'll roll it up. Let's see if we could get a speed 2. Maybe we'll even get lucky and it'll be a 3. Actually, it probably can't be a 3. So that's 2 speed. Why not? And the boots, I mean, the boots, who cares at this point? I'll just put that on him. So he'll be a bit faster. And we're going to try to use him to help push through the Fire Knight. He may die super quick as well, but it's just something that could help. He is ultimately just a food champion, but basically until we get somebody a little bit better, like a what? Cold Hearts, Apothecary. These are rares that are great for it. Or Tree Shield Knot is another one. But for now, we'll just go with... I think this guy has 2 hits on his A1, come to think of it. I might be wrong about that. but it doesn't matter. We're going to try this. The early stages of Fire Knight aren't so bad. Basically, we need enough hits on everybody's attacks to be able to mow through the Fire Knight's shield and then still have enough time before he takes a turn to do actual damage to him. This is another place where heal reduction can help as well. This might even be the first one where we want to make a preset. So we could reserve Kale's quadra hitting move until wave 3. Yep, it is a double hitter on his A1. Excellent. And he has that ally attack thing too, so that can also help do a couple extra hits to the shield. But I mean, you can see this is Fire Knight stage 1, and we're already kind of struggling to get through. Some turn meter control would be good, multi-strike on moves. I might want a second Yeoman. This is already not looking good. And I'm feeling pressed for time. Otherwise, I'd say we could try to manual through Fire Knight for the first few stages, but I don't think it's worthwhile. I don't even think we're really making progress. He keeps healing. You know what? This sucks. So we'll come back maybe with a second Yeoman, or maybe when this Yeoman is a little more powerful, I could set up a preset as well. And that might help. But right now, let's just say Fire Knight is kind of a dud. Spider is also kind of a dud. So we have pushed most of these. We actually haven't pushed Void yet. Partly because I don't really care about Void yet. We don't have any Void champions yet. If we'd started with Oboro, maybe that would be different. But we didn't. Whoops. Now let's bring these two. We'll bring these two, we'll level them. We'll see if that helps. Because I'm willing to make, you know what, we'll go ahead and level Yeoman until he's at 4 stars, maybe even 5 stars, and he'll be able to stay alive at least and do his triple shot against the Fire Knight's shield, and we might actually be able to farm Fire Knight with 1 Yeoman. It's kind of a silly champion to do that with, but you know what? He's the one uncommon champion that can help you with Fire Knight. Huh? Okay, I thought I clicked on the right thing. I didn't, apparently. So we'll push this until at least stage 4. The Void boss, he really just does a lot of debuffs. He doesn't have that many mechanics that make him harder to kill. He just kills you faster. So you just got to kill him faster than he can kill you. So we might even have luck getting all the way to 7. We're even unintentionally clearing missions and all that right now. Challenges, missions, and challenges. They're called challenges, Gavin. Shouldn't be a challenge to remember what these things are called. So why don't we push this dungeon to 4 for now? And then I'll get back to campaign. Because I do want to try to get to area 12 before the 2-hour mark. But I am going to call it at the 2-hour mark. So we're about 10 minutes out. So it's time to wrap this up. basically, if I can't reach it, I don't think it's realistic to expect I'd meet it in 10 minutes, come to think of it. So we're just going to farm Area 9 again. I will go back to trying to farm campaign, or to push campaign. But I'm comfortable farming Area 9 for now because we already have a champion that will benefit even if we don't get lucky. And we don't get War Maiden, we have Shield Guard. If we get lucky and pull some duplicate Shield Guards, that's what we want. So we go to campaign. We want Godfrey's Crossing, stage 5. So let's take out those two. Instead, I'm going to bring in him. And maybe we'll make this our let's bring her. Let's try to complete this food champion. So that's a good sign so far. Once we manage to get the masteries for Kale, we're going to start to notice a big difference in his ability to heal himself when he fights, especially if he hits an enemy wave. Because then you're doing tons of damage to 4 different enemies. That's a number of chances for his War Master to proc, give him huge amounts of health back. He might not really be breaking even until he's 5 stars as well. So we will try to get him to 5 stars within the first 3 days if we can. At least we're pushing through campaign again. So we'll see how fast this stage goes. Not that that's going to tell us how fast every stage goes, but see if there's even time to reach Area 12 today. Because I can see the merit in prioritizing Diabolist, especially if you have Sunwak Kong. Because we could have a very fast team. And going first in the arena, absolutely massive, especially this early in the game where you're probably not fighting anybody that's got any reaction gear or anything like that, so you want to go first. You don't want them hitting you. Hey, it's Saurus. This is another uncommon that's actually really good because he's got an AoE on both attacks. He's even got heal reduction on this one. It's the 50% one though. But that's very cool. He can be useful for campaign farming and for farming other areas because everything's in AoE, so he's hitting everything. It's not like his attack is stellar or anything. But that's another champion we have in our wheelhouse now. So maybe he'll be helpful. He's going to be food regardless, but he might be food that we can use to push through areas early. He's also Spirit, making us want to lean more heavily towards developing Spirit in the Great Hall. When we even have enough points for the Great Hall. It'll be a while before we have points for any bonuses at all. I think even the level 1 bonuses are like 100 points. And we get, what, like 1 bronze token for every fight? So that's 100 fights before we can put 1 token into one thing. Ouch. Ouch, Blarian. So this guy can go unkillable. Can Sunwak Kong manage to land block buffs at the right time? Well, unclear. because he's the wrong affinity. And if we fail here, I'm not going to try again. I'm probably just going to call it, but I think we might make it. And there we go. Landed block
They
buffs and
passed to
everything.
the other side, where the army of the Sacred Order had one of the heroes picked out Kenrick among the dying. He called his brothers in arms around him. "Oh, valiant knights," he hailed. He then lifted the company.
Okay. Hey, look at that. We got a book too. So we're going to be booking out Kale at some point soon.
Upon arriving at the hallowed hall, great the spell of, but our heroes, with hearts.
Yeah, we're dealing with Skullcrown in the very first wave. Okay. Or not Skullcrown, Sinesha. So we're going to want Spirit Champions for this area. We'll bring our food, though. So we've got about 4 minutes left. Yeah, I'm really not confident we're going to make it to Area 12. So we'll do that tomorrow. And this is Executioner. Really good champion to keep an eye out for. He does drop from any of these stages. He can put counterattack on himself. Yeah, there it is. And become a real nuisance. And he's defense-based, so... Or at least he has high defense. I'm trying to remember if all of his attacks are defense-based or if it's only one of them that is. But he can make a real nuisance of himself when he puts counterattack on himself. He can even campaign farm. I've heard of people doing this. It would probably be a lot slower. And also, even when he's fully booked, I think his counterattack move can be booked up to a 5-turn cooldown, so I don't know that I necessarily recommend Executioner. I'll push 2 more stages. And then, you know what? No, not even. This is the last stage. Then I want to make sure we have enough time to queue up the farming. Yeah, we're gonna have 2 minutes left at the end of this, so maybe it'll be just ever so slightly longer than 2 hours, but it's fine. I forgive myself. Do you forgive me? I mean, you must. If you're actually still here, 2 hours into the video, because these are quite long. These are the longest videos that I've ever made on this channel. It's a lot of sitting there listening to me talk about God knows what. I tried to stay on topic. So we'll head back to the Badlands. First, come to think of it, we really want our our extra farming fights, auto battles. So we go to here, campaign, and there is one thing to watch out for, come to think of it. Because we're getting very close to being max level. Actually, he's not that close to being max leveled. So we'll just put in some food champs. We'll do the multi-battles. And we'll just edit the queue. So after they max level, we'll put in 2 more. And then we'll put in 2 more. I want to try to max them out at kind of the same rate. And then we could do 2 2-stars. And then we're just going to get into stuff like this. So we could put in these 2 at the finish. Start the multi-battle. And that's it. Hey, look at that. Time.